What's up, dudes? Kublai Khan here, and welcome back to Hearthstone Usoflyday, or whatever we're doing just for funsies. I just wanted to chat, and I wanted to play some Arena for this Usoflyday. And I don't recall if I've done it. I'm sure I've done Arena with you dudes, but it's Arena and is a perfect place to just kind of spend a little gold. And I felt like doing this because it's just a different experience, which is pretty fun. Yes, I'll take 150. Basic idea of Arena is that it's all about the draft. How well do you draw cards and combine a sudden set of cards together to create a deck? You get only a choice out of 3 people. Sweet, we actually get to start with something pretty cool. No, because we need the other guy to do that. This is pretty cool. I kind of like this, actually. I think I want to do this. So the trick that makes this different is that it's sort of like making what's known as an aggro deck, which is an aggressive deck. And the thought process with that is when you look at these cards, you want to say, okay, how do I generate a character who is able to take more, like knock down my opponent more? The thing is so like in this example, this is a 3/3/4. So this is someone who actually has slightly more protection than, so remember I talked about how if a card is 3, they should equal out twice the cost of the card. So this would be 6, but this one's actually 7, so it's pretty good. This one is 3, it's not the same, but the thing is because it has a death rattle that makes another character, it's really sticky. So it stays on the board. Because the goal is to have as much board control typically. Now, actually that's not entirely true. It's to have as much constant damage against your opponent. Because your opponent is, like constantly trying to put things up against you. And you want to make sure that you're able to keep a constant pushing back. What I'm saying by that way is it's like in a typical constructed gameplay, when you build a deck, you are able to say, hey, I don't want to have, as much early game because I'm cool. I sweep my opponent. Like that's my thing. I stop them from crossing the threshold. However, in this, it's all about early game, getting stuff out quickly to help protect yourself. Because you definitely need to have some form of fighting against the opponent. Specifically, we don't have any secrets, do we? No, we don't. So this isn't going to really work. I don't want this. I think that seems bad to me because I don't have anything bad that needs to be silenced. Sure. This will be useful. So it's kind of an interesting thing where you can like get yourself to almost die, but then that's your win condition. That's the thing that you're doing really well with. Versus in this, it's like you want to try to get a lot of lower guys so that you can play cards every turn. That you can start striking your opponent every turn. Because these high expense cards are cool and all, but by this point, your opponent can either get rid of you with 1 removal or, will just be hitting you and using a taunt to keep you back. I like this card. I think it's really cool, but I think this might be better just because it'll get, card cycling. I really like this card. I think it's cool, but this one actually I think is a better option. Though this is a pretty sweet thing because it heals everybody. Let's do another Forgotten Torch so that we can just be bashing them with a lot of damage if possible. I love this card because typically you will come out with something useful, but it is expensive, which is dangerous. We could do this, actually, because we do have 1 secret, don't we? No, we don't. We chose not to do that. This guy is always really good. I'm going to grab another one of these. I think this would be a good idea so that we can... And those will be our only 2 protectors. Let me phrase that. There are our only 2 taunt characters. Cone of Cold... This could be pretty cool. I think this is a nice... I've never done an arena style quite like this before. This could be pretty sick. Nice. Ooh, a Flame Strike. Just in case there's something that we need to wipe out. I like the idea of getting extra spells. I think that's pretty cool. This is a great card that I think is wicked. We don't really have a lot of activators for this guy, and we don't have a lot of secrets, so I'm going to do this because this is like extra protection. Arcane Missiles, we're going to go with that. I think, so I love this card because it's so powerful, and you just summon a 1-cost minion for your opponent, but it's just so much damage at like just 4. This is really cool too, but we're going to go with this guy. Maybe a Frost Nova. Ooh, this could be interesting. This Heckler is pretty interesting because he's actually pretty tough. And he comes out pretty inexpensive, and so he can be a very quick like drop, stop your opponent, and high damage. Frost Nova could be cool, but I feel like that's just going to be delaying. Murloc Tiny Fin is nice because he's just an immediate drop, but I would rather this, I think. No more of these guys. We're going to go low. Low costs. Another Scarlet. We'll take you. Ooh, a Mirror Entity. Yeah, let's take that. I think that's kind of cool. And then I think we should actually do another Flamewalker because we're so heavily spelled. So, okay, we have a huge third turn, which is problematic. We might actually screw up our curve here because of that. I got so excited. But I feel like we'll see how things go. I have a lot of spell synergy going on, which is kind of what I was shooting for. And that should allow us to maintain and keep against our opponent relatively well as we're casting spells. It's interesting because in arenas, synergies are so much more important because they're so much more surprising, and also being able to just constantly damage your opponent is extremely valuable. What a good start. What a useful start. You also don't want to use this on your second turn if you can avoid your hero power, because it comes across and puts you in a position where all of a sudden you're just like, heh. I know that seems weird of a statement, heh. But my point being that you want to have characters out as quickly as possible, doing things as quickly as possible. Because one shot's nice and all, but having a dude out just ramps up attacks so much faster. And we're all in this mode is really all about doing more damage than your opponent, just faster than them. I mean, it's kind of funny because it's like, oh man, this guy's so Christmassy. Or Winter Valley. It's kind of funny because, like I was talking about the control thing, you can play a deck where you almost die as part of your thing, and then you throw out a Reno Jackson and you're way back and you suddenly have all your health back. This is not that style of play. This is very much get more damage into your opponent. Like, get ahead of them. Just do what you can to do so. Like this guy, deal 3 damage and then shuffle a Roaring Torch back in. I think it's a great thing. We can just smash tons of damage against this guy. Like, I'm looking forward to that. This is a problem. So now here's something kind of cool. Well, we could pop you in. That could be sweet. You know what? I'm gonna Roaring Torch this. Now, typically, like I said, you want to be constantly doing damage, but I'm kind of cool with the idea of just sort of controlling. I don't know. I also honestly have a hard time with knowing how I feel about this. Oof, that's a powerful character. You know what? Let's I like the idea of slowing him up, but I kind of want to play you and then you, because otherwise he's going to be doing direct damage. You know what? Let's try that. And this will get cheaper. Then he's not sure what secret we have. There we go. Plus we can kill him with this combo, but I don't want to necessarily do that. I want to actually use their damage against his face. But now if he plays something, we get a copy of it. So I think that was actually a pretty quality choice. Plus we can pop this guy out next turn if we get worried about things. Okay.
One day I'll be a real nice.
It's not exactly somebody that I want, but hey, you know, I'll take it. Plus, technically, if we're using our Fire Blast, we can increase this dude's Inspire, and he'll be pretty dangerous eventually. Like, that's kind of a cool idea. Oh, he's probably gonna heal this dude. Yeah, I see all that coming. And then this guy gets some more powerful. Ooh, I wanted to do these two, but I can't. I can drop him and shoot. but he's gonna get killed next turn. We could drop him in, shoot him, shoot him. Yeah, I like that actually. Drop you, fire, attack, and then you'll get more powerful. There we go. Perfect. So now we've got a little protection, so we can continue bashing him forward, and I'm hoping to get this guy out with a spell combo. That would be perfect. Because then we, like an arcane missile, and then he'll just shoot randomly out with 2 dudes too. That'll be wicked. Just a good shot. If not, I don't know, maybe this guy and this guy? Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. This dude is slow in decision making. Okay, that's kind of my spiel about Arena. Oh man, your hero power costs 1. Oh, Nikes. That's problematic. Oh man, that's a great card right now. Ooh. Ooh, hold on. What do I get? Frostbolt. Oh baby. Just thank you. Oh, I could throw that, hit him, but I was gonna do something cool. Okay, let's do this. Everybody straight in. Awesome. So she can hit him, and then he won't be able to. Oh yeah, they won't be able to kill this guy quite yet unless they use whatever spell I just gave them. But we have such an army out now. Plus we have the abilities to whittle them down. Good spot. Okay. Oh no. No, he had a sweep. Oh, vooey. That's really bad. Oh, that's really bad. Oh, and she can heal him so cheaply. Oh, that's really bad. Oh, bollocks. Okay, actually we could shoot you, ping you, shoot you, and that'll cost 6. I'd rather do this. I'd rather go boom, boom. I'd rather do this. Oh, he's probably going to use him to kill him, and then he'll get extra health from this guy's death rattle. Alright, maybe a bad choice. Damn it. Oh, we were so ready to just rock with our Flame Walker, but he had a Holy Nova. Bummer. Anywho. Oh, man. So, there's a subject that I do want to get onto. This is something I was thinking about the other day. Actually, today. I've probably talked about this a little bit. And oh my god, is this a can of worms? But Banana Bread and I love talking about feminism. And it is absolutely a can of worms. Because, you have this, like, one side of people who are trying their best to be allies as, like, men or something like that. And then you have the other group who believe in feminism but don't act like they do, and they keep making the wrong choices there. And then you have a group who's like misandrist, that's the word, which is an individual who hates men. And then you have misogynists, or individuals who hate women, and it's a lot of problems just all round. Oh, who's getting you got the health? God damn it. Interestingly, I can just kind of, keep doing that. Just keep bashing straight. But he can also keep healing. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know how we're doing here. This guy's gonna be really useful because of his ability to, just be constantly alive. Oh, bollocks. I always struggle to get any more than, like 2 wins in a row when I'm doing Arena. Anyway. So. Fuck! Oh, it's enemy mass dispel, too. Oh, shit. Oh, well, fuck. That's a problem. Anyway. So, there's a lot of different areas of arguments related to feminism, and I'm a feminist. I think women should be equal. And as a guy, a white male in fact, I totally struggle with relating to some of these problems. And this is because I'm just haven't experienced. This is what the check your privilege thing is. It's where it's like, as a guy, it's like certain things that you experience do not actually relate to how a woman has to experience it. because it's like, oh, it turns out that this is a terrible thing or whatever. Oh, damn. 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 You know what would be great? Is that fire sweep would be really nice. Oh, she could be great. And she's great because she's able to kill any scary big thing. But so would this guy be great, because then we have a taunt dude out. Yeah, I think this is the better choice. Okay. You're dead. You're dead. Nice. Okay. Okay, he's got a lot of cards, but we're back on top. Anywho's, it's hard to kind of relate to a lot of these things. And now the specific example that I am thinking about was when I was, let's see, I forgot exactly what specific one was. This isn't exactly what I was talking about. We kind of went on to this tangent here. But the thought process that I really wanted to get into was about just how do you have a secret? Oh, she got a secret because of the dude. Oh, shit. You had the secret, and now you're healing. I was going to use you and shoot you. Damn it. Damn it. Oh, Forgotten Torch. Here's our combo. No, it's a counter spell. No! Oh no, and it's just shoot! I did that very wrong. Oh no. Well, this is bad. Anywho. Anyway, so we've been talking about feminism and understanding it. And one of the things that I have was been realizing is a lot of just how much I struggle at understanding and relating to a lot of problems that women have to go through. In the case of no, we are so dead. Oh no. Oh, you're such a cool card. Oh, but I don't have any spells for her. I just kind of figured whenever you target this minion with a spell. Oh, what am I doing? We've lost. I can't win. such a defeatist attitude. I'm pretty sure we're dead. Anyway, I have such a hard time relating because and I was realizing that the other day that I really try to be empathetic to the best that I can, but I discovered that it's like you can't really be as empathetic in a way because it's just hard as a guy to get it. I mean, it's one's. Oh well, wow. I mean, I already knew we had lost, but well played. I'm not. We're done. But it was just kind of a fascinating realization to admit to oneself. But the thing I wanted to talk on was actually about what I consider when I'm studying, when I'm talking with Banana or my friends about feminism and getting a better understanding is like realizing that there is a privilege that one has to learn to check. And I always find that term is kind of aggressive. Some people said identify your bias, but I'm like, let's just stick with check your privilege. However, identify your bias does make more sense to me because it's like, hey, I naturally have biases that I'm unaware of. But the thing that I thought was pretty interesting was feminism and understanding the correct things that benefit feminism to discuss. Because, and this is totally an understandable mistake to be making here, which is that you a lot of times will have an individual who doesn't fully understand a culture using it as an example to explain why feminism is good or bad or why we need it or whatever the situation is, and it can become a bit of a problem. My particular example that I wanted to talk about as a misunderstanding was in this happened a couple months ago. Wow, damn. Where it was a female representation of there was a Spider Woman picture, and it showed her being all sexy, and how she stood. And a lot of people who, are strong feminists were saying, hey, this is a little overly sexist. Look how sexy she's posed. Like, why would this Spider-Man ever been in this pose? And there's this huge response to this design of her. And the thing is that was really fascinating about what's going on was that the answer was actually Spider-Man has posed like this before. In fact, here's the cover of Spider-Man. And that a lot of focus on comic book, not movie characters, but comic book characters, shows that there is, in fact, a very large amount of, you know what, we're shooting you in the face, a very large amount of female drawn characters that are really sexy, but male characters are drawn just as sexy, just as sexy. And it's a really fascinating discussion when people are, sort of argue like, wait, like, is this right or wrong? Like, how should we address this kind of design of a character? But you have this scenario where people are like, well, if you look at the character, you realize that in fact they are drawn like everybody else. There isn't anything particularly special about this particular drawing of this character, i.e. like the Spider-Woman being all sexy and wearing tight clothing. The specific thing that I saw was women dress up like superheroes and try to pose like them in the comics. And it's, I got what they're trying to say is like, this is not how actual women look, this is not how they dress. But it definitely came across to me as a little bit of like, it's clear that this character, oh, interesting. Oh, Mortal Coil with 2, nice. It's, it was just kind of, this character was, that was the Spider-Woman looks like that. Like, that's her design, that's how she, like, interacts, and that was the same way that, oh, I did this out of order, but whatever, we're just attacking anyway. I'm losing my train of thought. The thing is that these are superheroes. They have superhuman abilities. That's why Spider-Man poses in ways that a normal male could not do. That's why Superman does certain things that a normal male could not do. I get what they're trying to say is like, this is not how normal people look, and we should be educating people on that. And I agree, like, people should be, feel comfortable with how they look, and they shouldn't feel pressured into whatever they're, nice. They shouldn't feel pressured into trying to emulate a non-possible thing to do. It's also and I agree with all that, and that's where I talk about when I'm describing something along the lines of understanding a culture. Because when drawing comic book characters, they're drawn nude and then colored in. In the case of the Spider-Woman thing, she's like, it's not the fact that she's sexy, which is the problem. It's the fact that in a lot of other culture, there isn't really any strong female characters. It doesn't matter if they're sexy. All the male superheroes are sexy. Like, most of them, not all of them, but most of them are. And it's true that there's not a lot of unsexy female characters. And that's a product of the fact that it's primarily men drawing them, and they're like, well, if we want to sell more, we should make them sexier. And that's something that's a stupid mindset, to be honest, because there's such a, a forward push to having characters that, having characters that are more reflective of reality. Like, you don't have to have every female character in your game be sexy, because not every male character in your game is sexy. Like, they can be more interesting. I've always thought was kind of interesting example of this was, it's, oh man, I'm forgetting the name of the game now. It's a new, it's a MOBA kind of thing. Anyway, we'll use League of Legends for an example. Like, League of Legends, most of their female characters are really attractive. But of the male characters, you have weird animalistic things, and it's, let's see, what do I want to play? Sorry, I'm losing train of so much thought. Okay, do I want to shoot this? You know what, we're gonna pop you. Yeah, you. I'm choosing you, kiddo. Oh man, what am I doing? So I wanted to complain a little bit about what I was discussing, because, you know, it was something that was annoying me and all those lovely things that I was describing. But, what's up, animated armor? Be a badass, will ya? The thing that I thought was kind of fascinating about this subject was because I've actually had people who better explained like video games to me and their relation to being overly sexy and stuff, and I was surprised and was like, wow, I've learned a lot from my mistake. I thought that, you know, like video games were much more sexually open. My example that I had was like, people gave the example of like, there's a lot of games where you're saving a woman, and I already knew that in relation to like Super Mario and Zelda, but you know that I was like, you know what, there are examples of misogynism if you look, but there's not a lot. But then, you know, they just started naming game after game after game. Hells yeah, game after game after game, where this was an obvious problem. And I thought that was pretty interesting as I was, you know, getting this opportunity to watch people you know, be like, here's an example of this misogyny, going on and on and on and on and on, and the sexism and representation of women. And I was kind of blown away at one point because I realized that I just didn't think about it. Double minions attack, huh? Cool. Well, before we do that, you're in, and followed by you. I like this. Boop. There we go. So that was, you know, I got that from watching the Feminist Frequency YouTube channel, which this woman gets so much flack for being a feminist, and not for being a feminist, for the way she talks about video games. People get really connected to their games. They're like, no, you can't ever point out how, you know, stuff and things. Oh, God, yes. You can feel the happy. Oh man, that was wonderful. Okay.
Who you want me kill?
Who you want me kill? I want you kill him. Hells yeah. And you take him out. Oh, hells yeah. Oh, that feels good. That feels good. Ooh, look at this. Look at this blessed champion combo we have awaiting us. Assuming you live, you're gonna demolish that guy. Dang it. Alright, well, okay, I guess we're not demolishing that guy quite yet. Ooh, Mirror Entity will be nice, coupled with Divine Shield Player. And, I think this is actually the right choice, followed by this. And then we'll hold on to you, because I don't want you to die. I want to hold on to you for next turn to bash. Also, we could use it on this guy, too, because this guy is going to be nice and covered. Plus, we got whatever's coming out next. Nice. Okay, so... Anyway, this woman gets a lot of flack because people, you know, are way over the top in how they feel about some games and the like. And I do believe that there are examples of misandrists, people who hate men and hate male culture, and they can get over the top in what the right fixes are. And that was actually, now, but I wanted to, for example, say, and here's my point, I got to it. I wouldn't exactly say the people who are attacking the comic book example, where they misunderstand how, like, the comic books are simply drawn. They look at it and they go, this is an example of sexism and misogyny. But it's like, well, that's not entirely true. You know, like, oh, goodness me. Hold on, can we win right now? Let's see. If you were to die, +3/+3, and you landed on you, doubling would win. Too easy. Oh, for a moment I was like, oh no, I didn't do it. No, I did, I got it. Boom. Well played. Boom. I don't necessarily think that the example of, like, the comic book thing is people who are misandrists. I think that is an example of people misunderstanding how comic books are drawn. There are other problems, you know. There's not as many superhero women. There's not, you know, it's like women. There are no examples of less attractive superhero women. Like, they're all good looking, and then all the male superhero. You know, you can have an old male superhero who's a badass, but you can't have an old female superhero who's a badass necessarily. You do have strong female characters in comics, less though. You know, which goes back into the problem still that, you know, we're trying to fix a bit. But and so the whole point that I was trying to say is that there's a kind of a thing where I consider it a bit of a problem, where you have something like people attacking the comic book Spider-Woman with her being sexy, because that's not the biggest problems that exist out there. Now, I get that the point that one person is, you know, wants to explain is like, look, I get this may not be the biggest problem that we have, in the form of one going with female characters and the like we get that, and that I also understand that there could be some connection to it that I don't fully understand, but I go off of this idea that it can be, let's see, is that, make sure you play this turn, gotcha. Do I want to Forgotten Torch again, or do I want to get out of friggin' ape? So it's that kind of situation where, oh, water elemental, shoot, this is gonna be dangerous. These are very good. Oh, interesting. Yeah, he's like, I do not want to deal with that motherfucker. All right, well, you don't have to. That's or does 1 damage, or we're just peeling guys down. I guess you can kill you. Ooh, this is. Oh, you're gonna shoot and you're gonna kill. Oops! Oops! Not good. Not good. Bad plan on my part. Oh no! 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 You are a 3. I can hit you for 3, but then I gotta shoot you, and then you're at 1. That's not what I need. I need something like this. This is what I need. Something to slow down the pace of my opponent. Oh, shnikes. That's problematic. And I'm cold. This is, okay, I think this guy's actually who we should shoot. Get rid of this cat. And, let's put this cat in. Okay. And so, because the thought process is, you know, it's like, but I mean, it's another thing where it could straight up be my lack of understanding of, like, what problems women have to deal with, that's making me feel like, oh, this one example related to, how women are interacting with, I should have knocked this guy down, because then if he attacked, he would die. Damn it! Because it's like, it could have a different cultural relationship. Oh, shit. It could have a different cultural relationship that I'm not aware of, that people are suffering with. Oh, here we go. Drop you. Drop you. Fire, fire, shooting. Fire, fire. Oh, damn it. I think getting this guy out's the right choice. So, I find that kind of fascinating as a situation and a problem, and where it's like, I can't necessarily relate. But the reason I'm like I said, I'm bringing it up because I found that I consider that a situation where there are, this is true for anything. You have a spectrum of belief in relating to, let's say, you're pro-woman, you're anti-woman, or whatever, or you're pro-equal rights, you're anti-equal rights. You have the people who are very pro, will stay very pro. You have the people who aren't very pro, will never really be convinced, and it takes time to thank you for helping protect me. You die. Good. You're not gonna do shit. And I would do that, but honestly, I need to keep people alive. Flame on, yeah. Hit you. Oh no. Whack. Kill. Damn it! I lost. Oh, they're aware. They're aware. Oh, it's just bad manners. Oh, I thought I had a chance. They played bad manners on me. Aww. Damn it. Oh, I had a moment of hope. Anywho. So, I wanted to kind of discuss it a little bit because I find that if I'm in a position where we're trying to convince people to be more pro-equal rights, you want to ensure that you have people who, we have this giant spectrum. Well, you can't get the people on the far ends of the spectrum. They already agree or they don't agree, and you'll never convince them. But then there's people who are kind of like on the, not all the way there, but you can convince into the pro, totally. And those individuals, they're kind of leaning. But it's like, if I in the leaning category, like the evil leaning, people who are like against equal rights, attacking something like the comic book thing where you have individuals who are explaining like, hey, this is just how it's been done. Yes, it can be improved, but the specific sexuality of the superhero characters is less of the problem because we do have the equivalent existing. Then in that case, you might convince a leaner on the side, the anti-equal rights, to go over into the the non-equal rights situation because they're like, hey, I'm now angry about you attacking this thing. Or you have a leaner who was going to go into pro-equal rights, but it wasn't quite all the way there, who now is like, I'm less caring about it because you're attacking something that I think doesn't deserve it. So they kind of fall back more to the neutral. And then also there's that middle area who could swing into any of the leaning sides or whatnot that you want to try to move this way. This is something where, because it was misunderstanding what is, important for the actual character, misunderstanding what is important for the actual, argument, where it's like, you're kind of attacking the wrong thing here, because, simply because it's a lack of education, but it's hard to keep up with all of it. But because of that, it ruins the entire argument. You want to be able to point out to people that things are good. Hold on, how can I do this in a way that'll keep me? I guess let's fireball this guy and we'll shoot 2 into you. I know I could have potentially gotten 1 more damage, but I felt like that was a better, safer choice. Anyway, it is kind of a fascinating thing where it potentially ruins some of the opinions. But I mean, there's a ton of literature and video and anecdotal information about how terrible our rights can be, and civil rights and our equal rights need to be improved. There's a ton of evidence for that. So it is definitely still worthwhile. But people, especially people in the comic book industry and this industry, tend to be way more. I would for example, with what happens on Feminist Frequency, these people are just so insanely reacting to one to him. Why? Us. People are so insanely reacting when it just, they overreact. They act like children. And a lot of them are trolls. There's a huge troll environment here for sure. But it's this kind of thing. And so it's kind of an interesting problem too, because we get into that staple of how does one deal with, wow, I have not seen that play before. Holy shit. Wow, that's problematic. Okay. There we go. That I think is a good idea. Minimizes the, whatever she's able to play, but damn, a 4-3. Well done, Buccaneer. I thought it's whenever you equip a weapon, which I thought this was the equip. Nope, it's not whenever you use your hero power, it's whenever you equip a weapon. Jeez. Anyway, I find this is an interesting conundrum because you have a group of people who are idiots, and this idiot group of people needs to learn to chillax. Needs to learn to it's okay to for people to, oh my god, no. Oh goodness me, I am screwed. However, what's kind of cool is if this person lives, next turn I can go 1, 2, 3, 4 damage all around. In fact, I can do 4 damage straight in, so I can go pop, 1, 2, 3, 4, pop. I wonder if they're aware of that. I might win this match. Hold on, the suspense is killing me. To finish it all up, the argument is basically, does one alter the way that they argue something because the stupid people you're trying to argue are the fools and they're really difficult to, continue to talk with. Oh. No. No. Oh no. Well played, you motherfucker. Well played. Oh, bollocks. Alright, what do we get here? Somebody who's... doesn't matter what I do, I've lost. Well, let's pretend like we had a chance and get another Tomb Spider. Yep, that would have been nice! That would have been useful. I still would have lost though. Well played.
Well played.
Ah! Oh well. To finish, to kind of finish that thought, it was basically one. In the case of whenever you have a certain argument that you're trying to make, and you want to improve something like civil rights, which is fantastic and a great thing to try to improve. You kind of have to be educated enough in what you're arguing so that you don't argue on things that are pointless to argue on, and then makes your case look less intelligent. We didn't break even. We're 10 gold below. Sometimes you break even, and it's sweet when you break even, because you're like, woo, I did it. Anyway, let's do some packs while I finish up the subject. So, you have this, that's one, and then the second thing that you run into, oh, they're all regulars. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, getting some dust. That guy's kind of cool. Oh, competitive spirit. That's nice. That's nice. So you have that scenario, and the second thing that's important to keep in mind with relation to it is that when you are, trying to convince people, it's important to keep in mind that whenever you have some of these cool ideas and whatnot, that you have this leaning group, and there's always going to be a group that you won't ever convince, and that's a problem. That's, I think, a pretty interesting card because you can heal them up high. It's amazing. Anywho, so there we go. Some Hearthstoning. I'm still angled in the weird way. It's still odd to me, but it's something that I wanted to chat about, and this is a long episode because it was an entire arena play. But it's something that I run into this situation where, you have people arguing for things that they don't need to argue against, and then it ends up wasting their energy, and it ends up dragging down the entire movement. And the thing is, it's like, this is the feminist frequency example. This woman gets video games. She clearly plays video games. She may have very different opinions to a lot of people, and may not know everything about games. But in the case of a lot of these actions about the comic books, this idea doesn't come. Comic books people don't draw them often. They don't draw superheroes often, so it's a bit of education that is more apparent. So I don't know. It's one of those things where, to me, it kind of grates on me because I want to support a movement, and I want to be an ally to the movement. And I get that I can't understand all of it, and I try as much as I can, and I really wish to listen and that. And it's that level of thing where it's like, it's one of those things where I feel like it's part of what I want to do is try to educate people, and hey, leave the comic book thing alone. It's less important to the entire world. Like the video game thing, keep on that. Equal rights, keep this, like something where giving an example of, fighting against the rape culture and stuff, and it's like games involving us killing the female protagonist that we wanted originally and all that stuff. Important to get rid of that. Important to have women strong and all that. Comic book one, I was like, just the case of Spider-Woman. That one's a bad argument, and it keeps coming up everywhere. It's trending, and it's incorrect, and that's the problem. And so there's a lot, there's a lot of people out there, so it's not helping. And the thing is, and this is something that I find kind of interesting, and this is the final point, is that a lot of times when there's a certain thing that people grab onto and they keep pushing forward, if it's not helping, but it's, evocative, then it ends up being this giant swirling goopity goop of just inefficiency that fails everyone. In fact, in this example, it's like people get together and they're like, look how sexist this is. And it's like, it's not. That's the problem. Like, and so you're wasting time. Like, and that's in the case of the Spider-Woman thing. There's so many other examples where it's like, no, it's not wasting time. And bringing up the conversation is really important to encourage that. But it's something where I get worried when I see this trending popular topic that is not actually what they're claiming it to be. And then on top of that situation, we run into the problem where it's like it's constantly pushed, and there's accredited intelligent people spending time working on it. And you have groups of people gathering around it. But can you imagine the scenario when you have all these people marching with this picture of like this is a really big fantasy in my head, whatever. Marching with this, like, this woman is an example of sexism. And you straight up go, no, it's not. And then what do? Like, the argument crumbles, and that's a problem. You get, feminism is needed. Equal rights is needed. A strong front to defeat these problems that the world has is important. If it's built on something sandy, a sandy beach kind of thing, where they say, build it on some stone, whatever your foundation is, it needs to be good. This is a poor foundation. And then it will crumble. And if it crumbles, then you're like, crap, we're being set back. And someone may go like, well, it's not that important. And it's like, why? It's just one, if they made one mistake, that's fine. And I agree that it's less important for a winning side to have that happen. To have men, be like, oh, this, like, citing James Bond, and then have Daniel Craig be like, James Bond is a terrible person. Like, and then, because they're on this, that's an example of when it's, that's the, what I call, like, because that's not the change side. That's the one rejecting the change kind of thing. When you have that, people citing James Bond as an example. But when you're on the side that is trying to enact change, you have to be so much better than the side that's trying to keep change from happening. You have to have smarter arguments, more statistics. You have to have better explained, better well-spoken ideas. Because otherwise, change is hard. It's easier to stay still. So you have to get a ball moving kind of thing. And this is an example of failing to get a ball moving. In fact, it's the example of pushing, going the wrong direction entirely. Anyway, all this everywhere. Usoflyday is super long today because I was just like, I feel like chatting. And chatting is fun. And Arena plays. Super entertaining. So, anywhoos, if you liked what you saw, please leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. And thank you so much for doing so. It's a total joy to have you here. Leave me a little click down below. I guess actually I don't know what side it is because I'm on reverse right now. Also, I shrink. Anywhoos, thank you so much. May the ground rise to meet your feet. The wind always be at your back. And the sunshine won't meet your sexy, sexy face. And dudes, if you got any ideas about this, please let me know your ideas on feminism and equality and that kind of thing. Like, I think it's something that is really important to talk about. So, alright dudes, see you later. Bye.